As I'm sure you already know, despite the Idolmaster becoming a successful multimedia franchise, it's still first and foremost a video game series at its core. Anime? The heck is that? We make video games, darn it! One fun benefit of video game companies, especially more successful ones like Square Enix, Konami, Capcom, and Namco, is that they have the budget and the audience to successfully branch out into more experimental or spin-off projects, such as cameos or crossovers in other types of media, either as a staple item, blatant cross-promotions, or simply a fun, cute cameo appearance. Of course, the Idolmaster is no exception. It actually happens more often than you may think, and in some unexpected places no less. In some cases, however, these crossovers are sadly lost to time and can only be remembered through word of mouth. Or perhaps through a comprehensive video that ever so conveniently documents these moments in history for others to learn about. Boom! Perfect segue! We're only covering video games today, so there won't be any mention of any real-life collaborations such as the Takatsuki Tourism Ambassador thing, or Dar's collaboration, or the millions of other examples. That's a deep enough rabbit hole all on its own. And we won't be going over every cameo appearance of other games that have appeared in Idolmaster games over the years. Some of them might get mentioned here or there, but listing all of them would easily double the length of this video, so perhaps we'll save it for another day. I mean, just look at these! There's really no end to all of these cameos. And how could anyone possibly forget about this? So let's just focus on Idolmaster's appearances in other video games. I'm sure there will only be more to come in the future, so for now, here is a currently up-to-date rundown of every single Idolmaster cameo in other video games. This list will be shown based off the video game's publishers first, so naturally we're starting with Bandai Namco's. Like, duh, using your own property to do crossovers is pretty much free real estate. Let's start with the Ace Combat series. Collaborations between Idolmaster and Ace Combat is a pretty common occurrence actually, dating back as early as Ace Combat 6. There are even real-life plastic models of the DLC planes. For Ace Combat 6, there are planes named after the original 10 idols of Namco Pro, as well as 2 different planes from Miki Hoshi and Awakened Miki, and also an Idolmaster SP plane represented by Kotori Otonashi and President Junichiro Takagi. Where Takane and Hibiki, you may ask? They hadn't debuted as Namco Pro idols at the time just yet, so I guess you could say they missed their flight! A really cool attention to detail is that the ammo counts for each plane actually references the measurements for each of the idols. For example, Azusa Mira is 168 centimeters tall, and the Grumman F-14 Super Tomcat plane that's modeled after Azusa has 168 missiles. And yes, as you may have guessed, Chihaya's everlasting association with the number 72 got used for the XMA6 weapon on her plane. I'm not too sure how the numbers fare compared to the other planes in the base game, but that's a lot of dedication for some DLC that references a completely different franchise. The Chihaya plane also has a tendency to fly towards the ground whenever it gets hit, which is a reference to the Chihaya Spiral? Really? Okay, now that's overkill. The cameos continue as we move on over to Ace Combat Assault Horizon with references to Haruka, Miki, Chihaya, Yukiho, Yayoi, and Makoto. Still no Hibiki or Takane in sight, huh? It's said that the planes here work more like costumes, so they won't affect stats unfortunately. Even more unfortunate is that these have since been removed from their respective digital stores. In Ace Combat Infinity we have even more cameos, but rather than full-on planes, we've got emblems. Okay. Though in a later update they finally added Takane and Hibiki planes, so that's nice. And later on they also added emblems for Idolmaster Cinderella Girl's Starlight stage. As for Ace Combat 7, it initially didn't have any Idolmaster representation, but lo and behold, 3 years after the game's release, they added emblems to represent the most recent Idolmaster release, Starlit Season. Better late than never, I suppose, but I do find it a bit humorous that Ace Combat 7 had a bigger Idolmaster announcement for their 3rd anniversary than the Idolmaster had for their 17th anniversary. As a bit of a bonus, Starlit Season also has an Ace Combat themed DLC outfit. The aircraft it's based on, the ADF-11F Raven, was initially unplayable until it got added as DLC. It also shoots laser beams into the audience, which makes it both fashionable and functional. I'd love to see more Mecha Musume costumes for Idolmaster if it means they'll come up with silly special effects like this. Up next is Bokura no Terebi Game Kente? Our TV game proficiency test? Oh, okay, very clever, Namco. So this is a WarioWare style game featuring various Namco properties. You got Galaga, Xevious, Mappy.
I feel like Magnum PI.
Dig Dug! You can't be Magnum PI because you're not a cop.
Some of these are completely original gameplay ideas as well, like a solo RPG in the style of Tower of Druaga. And of course, there's Idolmaster. So let's take a look at this. This HUD is certainly nothing like the original games. Steal this girl's heart? What is this, Persona 5? Well, either way, the best girl is still Makoto. Hobbies, sports in general, specialty is her boyish, outstanding athletic capabilities, wants to be more feminine. Oh wow, the communication responses are also here. Let's go training at the gym, let's read shoujo manga, let's laze off at home. That last one doesn't seem very romantic, though I suppose it depends on who you ask. So the sprites seem to be from Idolmaster Dearly Stars? No, wait, these are completely original renders. This game released a year before Dearly Stars, so they made entirely original sprites just to be used in this game. They could have very realistically chosen a more gouge-focused series like Eumeria, so I'm surprised to see they went through all this extra work just to include the Idolmaster. It's really interesting. Moving on, we've got CV Casting Voice. This sort of feels like a spiritual successor to the Idolmaster. The premise is kinda similar, even to the point of having you play as a producer, though rather than idols, you're working with various seiyus. Wait, it also has commus? And deadlines? And your seiyus get to voice Namco characters? Which of course includes the Idolmaster. So we're having Idolmaster seiyus as their own separate characters, who are now voicing characters from the Idolmaster. But you have the power to mix and match who voices whom. This is both very cursed and very hilarious. The highlight for this title is getting to hear Asami Imai voice characters other than Chihaya. Even Yayoi. We even have the seiyuu for the producer from the 2011 Idolmaster anime in this game as well.
あの子、今ポケットから何か落としたような。見間違いかな。
Up next we got God Eater 2 Rage Burst, as well as the remake of the first game, God Eater Resurrection. This collab mainly focuses on costumes from the original Namco Pro, Million Live, and Cinderella Girls. Now this is peak gaming. Hunting gods while wearing idol costumes. In the wise words of James from Pokemon, Team Rocket always puts beauty before duty. This free DLC collaboration also includes Kotori as the operator. Heck, you could even change the burst song into the Idolmaster theme. The bad news is that this is exclusive to the Japanese PSN store, so unless you're willing to go through a few extra steps to access that, I'm afraid you're out of luck. The game's protagonist, Alisa, not to be confused with Million Lives' Arisa, gets a DLC costume titled Million Dreams. On the flip side, Iori got a God Eater 2 collab card in Million Live, where she wore Alisa's God Eater 2 outfit. The chest area doesn't seem to fit quite right. Nope, no conclusive evidence of a Bandai Namco cinematic universe can be found here. Not at all. Okay, moving on! Up next we got... Happy Dance Collection? What is this? Oh, a Namco game. Interesting. Wait, is that Go My Way? With the All-Stars vocals, no less? Yeah, the choreography is even the same. This game's song roster primarily consists of licensed songs, particularly J-pop, Kirarin Revolution, Pokemon, Doraemon, Precure 5, Anpanman. With a lineup like this, Idolmaster kinda seems like the odd one out at this point. It's a cool crossover, but it sort of feels like when a kid is saying, I want Idolmaster! And then their parent tells them, we have Idolmaster at home, only to be greeted with this. Well, here comes a very important one to the series. This is Katamari Damacy. Do any of you remember this song? If so, congratulations! You qualify for a senior discount at IHOP! Okay, but seriously, this song actually debuted in beautiful Katamari for the Xbox 360, so that technically makes this a Katamari song and not an Idolmaster song. Even crazier, either by design or by sheer coincidence, is that the plot of Beautiful Katamari involves you trying to rebuild all of the planets in the solar system after they were knocked out of the sky during a game of golf with the king of all cosmos. Not that Cosmo! And the level in which Danketsu plays, the Cloud9 Forest, is the level in which you try to reconstruct the planet Jupiter. Wait, Jupiter? As in the first all-male idol unit of Idolmaster Jupiter? There's never been an outright confirmation from the dev team as to why they chose the name Jupiter for the rival unit of Idolmaster 2. Not only that, but Danketsu is also the arching theme in the Idolmaster 2. I recommend watching our review of Idolmaster 2 for more details on that. Wait a minute. Unity Katamari. This whole time I thought this was a song about all the idols working together and treating each other as equals to achieve their dreams and whatnot, but now I'm starting to think that it could very well be in reference to how the millions of innocent creatures and civilians in Katamari are being forcibly united against their will when they get rolled up into a ball and placed into outer space where they'll spend the rest of their lives in eternal turmoil. But maybe that's just a coincidence. Either way, Idolmaster sure owes a lot to Beautiful Katamari. The Idolmaster team liked the song so much that they even made an updated version, better known as Danketsu 2010, which now includes Takane and Hibiki's vocals. This song is also the source of this infamous line. So you could thank Katamari for all the Yukiho bullying that occurs throughout the series. Sadly, this was the first and the last time that the Idolmaster has ever been referenced within the Katamari franchise. Kuma Tomo? Is this really gonna have Idolmaster content in it? As it turns out, yes it does. You can talk directly to the bear and it's actually equipped to respond to stuff relating to the Idolmaster. As we can see in this PV, the bear got named after Miki, and now she has Miki's speech patterns, including Deko-chan and Nano. 楽しい気持ちになるの。いい。ミキのことちゃんと見ててよ。The more I think about it, the more it seems along the same lines as trying to teach your Seamen to say Sega. And yes, I seriously just said that this game is essentially a kid's version of Seaman. Except the teddy bear is far less creepy, so that's a plus. The phone port of this game even has a Sakagami costume. Yep, that's Gami P's iconic orange shirt, alright. Wait a minute. This bear. I swear I've seen this somewhere before. Kuma Tomo's sequel, Neko Tomo, also got some Idolmaster representation. There's some Idolmaster related dialogues, the Top Clover costume from Stella Stage, which released in the same year, and Gami P's shirt makes a return. Conversely, Shiny Colors has the Neko Tomo cats as the background option. Pro Baseball Famista. It's actually a long-running tradition at this point for the series to have Idolmaster representation. It mainly consists of actual baseball teams from Japan, but it also includes the fictional team Namco Stars, which, as the name implies, consists of other Namco characters. Okay, let's see here. Wonder Momo, long time no see. Oh, and Valkyrie. And, a spaceship. And Officer Mappy. And, wait, is that Vajra? This game has everything! Move over, Avengers Endgame! This is truly the most ambitious crossover in history! But the character sprites don't exactly reflect the characters you're playing as, so what's even the point? Oh well. At least the artwork's cute. Oh, sure. You too, Mono. Fun fact, you can find the Namco Stars team referenced in Subaru's MV. This is the OG team name of Famista's Namco Stars. Speeding on up next is Ridge Racer! Man, I heard the Vita game has quite the reputation. Well, whatever the reason may be, the thing I'm most interested in is its DLC. It mainly features cars that have idols plastered onto them via the Itachi paint, as well as some songs as you'd expect. Gotta put that car radio to good use after all. As you do research on just how many cameos the Idolmaster has made over the years, you'll start to find stuff that is very, very obscure. Shingun Destroy. A strategy game? Wow, I can't believe their super durable armor couldn't withstand such a fearsome attack. Idolmaster characters such as Mirai, Shizuka, Yuriko, Reika, Anna, and so on can be found in this game as guest characters. It's a good thing they're all prepared for combat. As any idol should be, of course. There's even a collab with the Mujin Gatai Kisaragi mech show, but nobody seems to have recorded it as far as we were able to find, so it looks like those cutscenes will be forever lost to time.
過去があって未来へと続くだから今を戦い抜く未来への扉を開け
Super Robot Wars X Omega! This game is also shut down, but at least the footage is well preserved. And hey, this one was by the Chained Chronicle team from Sega. Fittingly enough, the collab featured Haruka from Idolmaster Xenoglossia, along with her trusty partner, Imber. They also collaborated with Mujin Gatai Kisaragi, which is the closest we've ever gotten to having both the mainline Idolmaster and Idolmaster Xenoglossia exist alongside one another in any way. There's even a commune between Halstein and Haruka. The only outlier among this cornucopia of cameos is Uzuki. Who is this Psybuster? Doesn't seem like it comes from any pre-existing Idolmaster media. Or maybe it's just a cheeky reference to Psy games and nothing more. It is said that Psybuster has many different pilots, and I guess Uzuki could just be one of them. Well, at least we know she'll be doing her best like she always does. Hey, remember that one time Julia cosplayed as Kirito and Kotoha cosplayed as Asuna from Sword Art Online? At the same time, there was a collab with Million Live in Sword Art Online Unleash Blading, which has also closed down. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Anyway, the game had appearances from Anna, Yuriko, and Miki, and the collab even got announced in a Million Live Theater Days livestream at the time. Asuna, Sinon, Lifa, and Adis also received Million Live costumes. We even got a cover of Union performed by the Sword Art Online girls. Super cool. Remember when it was the Idolmaster cast that would perform covers of songs from other games and anime series? My, how the tables have turned. One of Idolmaster's most significant collaborations is with Taiko no Tatsujin. It's pretty much what you'd expect, given how many songs appear in these games. And there's certainly no shortage of Idolmaster songs, that's for sure. In some instances, the dancers below will actually turn into Idolmaster characters. Another nice attention to detail is that many of the Idolmaster songs have max combo counts that reference the various offices of the Idolmaster series. A 765 combo for Honey Heartbeat, and an 876 combo for Next Life. In the Must Songs titles, there's a brand new song called Majide! It was notorious for having an incredibly long wait time for the full version to become available as a standalone song. Not only that, but you can even get Idolmaster costumes for Danchan. Now isn't that just the cutest drum you've ever seen? You go, Danchan! And on the PS4 version, Drum Session, you can even have these chibi versions of certain Idolmaster characters cheer you on. Coming full circle from the Danchan accessory you could have the idols wear back in the day, huh? Another long-running series known for its Idolmaster collaborations is the Tales of series. Wait, you're saying that this series is known for things other than its Idolmaster cameos? Not to me it isn't! Let's start with the costumes. First off, there's Tales of the World Radiant Mythology. The irony here is that this is the only Radiant Mythology game that ever got localized. Joy. Due to how long ago this was, the online documentation is pretty scarce. We weren't able to find any photo or video evidence of this costume even existing. In Tales of Graces, Cheria, Sophie, and Pascal can use the Banamu Pro costumes. The battle theme even changes into Dearly Star's lesson theme. They even get new victory skits as well. In Tales of Vesperia's PS3 port, Rita can wear Haruka's costume. Just a cosmetic change, but it's still neat. In Tales of Xillia, Leia, Elise, and Milia all got Idolmaster 2 costumes. The battle theme also changes when you wear these costumes. It could either be My Best Friend, Go My Way, and Shiny Smile. In Tales of Innocence R, they had DLC outfits for both the boys and the girls. Luca and Spada, for example, can wear Shota's costume. It's unknown if there was any other effect like changing the victory poses or battle theme, however. The documentation is pretty poor. In Tales of Card Evolve, which also got shut down, Milia swapped costumes with Elena. And yes, there was also an Elena version of this collab in ML Gree. In Tales of Zestiria, Alicia, Rose, Lila, and Edna got one-for-all costumes. The costumes also changed the battle themes into various Idolmaster songs. It even comes with accessories. But more importantly, this is the closest thing we have ever gotten to an official Idolmaster dub.
That's what I call a victory! Let's try and aim higher next time.
We did it.
Ah yes, Yayoi's most iconic catchphrase. We.
やりました.
By the way, there was also some new skits regarding the costumes too. The standalone expansion, sequel, Tales of Berseria, also received Idolmaster costumes for Velvet, Majilo, and Eleanor. And let me just say, these skits sure are something. We've also got a new battle theme, and of course, some very interesting dubs.
I want to go home now. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah!
They certainly did their best with Anzu and Kirari's lines. Oh, you're wondering where Velvet is? Don't worry, you'll see her again in this video very soon. In the most recent release, Tales of Arise, Rinwell can wear a costume from Starlit Season. And that's it. No songs, no skits, just a costume. Well, that's a bit underwhelming. Though, to be fair, the other cameo costumes are like that too. Now, let's talk about the Idol's fighting game appearances. AKA, let me get on my soapbox real quick and try to convince you all that Idolmaster characters deserve to be represented in Super Smash Bros. Okay, fine, this isn't actually Haruka. This is an outfit worn by Mel in Tales of Fantasia Narikiri Dungeon X, the PSP remake of the Game Boy Color game Narikiri Dungeon. But this secret class/costume has its own unique movesets that reference Haruka, such as cake throwing and her iconic tendency to trip and fall. This is significant since this is the first time an Idolmaster character was ever playable in a fighting game, even if it is technically just a costume. The battle theme changes too. In Tales of Hearts DS, not included in the remake since the support feature is gone, Yayoi can provide support by dealing a damaging high touch. Now that's a powerful slap. Tales of Asteria has quite a lot of collabs. We've got the OGs, Cinderella Girls, Side M, and even Aya from Starlit Season. The battles even become score-based. And the Tales of characters also gained Idolmaster costumes. But the best part of all of this? The Tales of the Rays collabs. In the Tales of the Rays Idolmaster collabs, none of them got localized due to the game getting shut down on the global server before any of it could even arrive. The Tales of characters got Idolmaster costumes and new mirages that were very referential to their respective characters. For example, Marta, voiced by Rie Kugimiya, who also voices Iori Minase, gets to wear an Iori costume. The mirage name is Floating River, which references the name Minase, which can mean water current. Then there's Leia's Punning Maple, which of course can be worn by Leia. This character being voiced by Saori Hayama, who voices Kaede in Cinderella Girls. The reference this time being that Kaede's name translates to Maple. Heck, the gate opening theme is no doubt from Koikaze's MV. And remember how I said that Velvet would be popping up later in this video? Well, get ready for this. Rina Sato voices both Velvet and Chihiro Senkawa. Look at that green demon go! This is clearly referencing the stamina drinks Chihiro would regularly hand out. Who knew they could be so deadly? And finally, saving the best for last, there are currently 5 Idolmaster characters that appear as full-fledged playable characters. So long as you have an adequate amount of arts for this gacha game, of course. What, did you think this was a charity? The idols in question are Haruka, Uzuki, Ranko, Anzu, and Kirari. Their movesets are completely original too. The best part about Haruka is her Let's Be Friends art. It has a slow wind-up and activation time, but not only can it recover her HP, which this by itself is already OP, but if you manage to activate the Master Art version, called No Fighting, combined with the usual Master Art rule, full iframes, this makes Haruka an unstoppable vampire. Cune vampire girl, anyone? Here's another fun fact. In Banamu Pro's office, there's a poster of Sophia from Tales of Graces. But in Gravere for You, this got removed for some reason. Curse you, Namco! It's pretty well known that Tekken producer Katsuhiro Harada is a big fan of the Idolmaster. Most notably, Iori Minase, with him going as far as to change his Twitter profile to a picture of Iori on her birthday, as well as creating an illustration of Iori that had some, shall we say, creative liberties taken. It seemed inevitable that Tekken would eventually get its own Idolmaster collaboration, And sure enough, it did. The female Tekken characters shown here got one-for-all costumes. Sadly, Paul's costume is unusable. Conversely, Harada returned the favor and allowed some Tekken references to appear in Idolmaster. Of course, if we're talking about Idolmaster collaborations, we need to talk about side games. Let's start with the obvious one, Grand Blue Fantasy. In here, the idols are primarily from Cinderella girls and have their outfits based on their looks from the Dice Day Cinderella minigame. But interestingly enough, side M characters also appear in this game. We've got Teru, Tsubasa, Kaoru, and Pierre. The enemies can be pretty wacky, from the Piña Coladas to Anzu's plushie, and so on. This is also where we learn that Uzuki knows how to speak the Piña language. The side games collabs don't stop there. There are several cards with Bahamut's Rage, which also have their costume based on the Dice Day Cinderella outfit. There's also Shadowverse, which uses existing cards as the character costume. And then there's Princess Connect. In both games, Uzuki, Rin, and Mio appear in their Dice Day Cinderella outfit. There's even a brand new song for the Princess Connect Redives collab event titled Great Journey. And of course, just 2 months after this collaboration released, we received the announcement that the game would be shutting down at the end of April 2023. Because of course it did! Guess I'll just wait for Idolmaster to appear in Uma Musume. I'm sure that's just around the corner and won't get shut down anytime soon, right? Right? We don't get to see Namco and Sega collaborate very often, but sure enough, it's been done. In Hatsune Miku, Project Diva's 2nd, and Extend, there's various DLC relating to the Idolmaster where you can dress the Vocaloids up in Idolmaster costumes. You can also go to the Namco Pro office, which makes this the very first 3D iteration of this location. We've also got Go My Way and Relations sung by the Vocaloids, which I know isn't that far-fetched because Len and Rin Kagamin are voiced by Asami Shimoda, who voices Ami and Mami Futami, but still, it's cool. Both of these songs are only available in their game version length, just FYI. Since Idolmaster can also be considered a rhythm game of sorts, having its songs make appearances in other rhythm games was inevitable. To promote One for All, Go My Way, the Idolmaster 2nd Mix, and The World Is All One were all available in My Green Plus. This even includes the MVs, frames and icons too. But since the release of My Murasaki, the songs have since been removed and are lost to time. At least we still have the frames and icons. 7 years later, Idolmaster and My crossed paths again. Not only that, but they also crossed over with Chunithum and Ongeki.
Up to advanced mode and picked the most degenerate song I could possibly find. I love that. Maybe a bit too much.
The live Kakume Deisho and Yes Party Time got included as songs in the game. In My DX Universe, the game had Shooting Stars and Moon Knight no Senishite, which have no MVs. Namco! Last but not least, we've got Ongeki featuring Nando Demo Waro and Hide and Attack. The Nando Demo Waro chart features the logo of each of the 5 branches and the 15th anniversary logo. Meanwhile, Hide and Attack had the privilege, if you want to call it that, of getting a lunatic chart. Don't worry, both charts don't have too many bullets to evade. To wrap things up, let's discuss the really weird ones. Like, whatever the heck this thing is. Those are certainly Idolmaster costumes, but that's about all I could say about that. Then we've got Music Gun Gun 2, Taito's light gun rhythm game. This includes Go My Way and Agent Yoro Oyuku, which have no special visuals here. Moving on, Tanken Drilland, a Gree game it seems. Not much to say here, the information more or less has been lost to time. Then there's Azure Lane? Huh, I thought Kantai Collection would get that first, considering some of the OG Idol names were based off of Japanese warships. There was Yayoi, Hibiki, Kisaragi, Akizuki, and so on. As an outsider, this collab seems to be a-okay. There was a new PV, furniture items, etc. Moving over to the Nintendo Switch, we've got a pretty recent crossover with Fitness Boxing 2. And no, I'm not talking about the personal trainer who looks strikingly similar to Yayoi. At the beginning of 2023, this game had a crossover with the Idolmaster Side M. It introduced new remixes for the songs Drive Alive, Growing Smiles, and Take a Stump that you could listen to while working out in the game. Speaking of Japanese exclusive events, at the time of this crossover's announcement, one of the idols of Side M, Takeru Taiga, started making appearances on the game's official Japanese Twitter account. Makes sense given that he's a former boxer. He started posting daily exercise challenges for 10 days straight and encouraged others to share the results online. Those who participated and used the correct hashtags were entered for a chance to win a limited edition physical copy of Fitboxing 2, with an alternate cover art that features Takeru. These special variants were limited to only 110 copies. But now, we have saved the best for last. It's time for the ultimate Idolmaster collaboration. Those with small children in the audience, I advise you to turn away so that you don't witness the sheer and utter nightmare fuel I am about to unleash. Behold, PlayStation Home Haruka. Some may think that this was due to the limitations of the software. Others may try to claim that the people who worked on this weren't familiar with the source material. But no, none of this was accidental. This was all by design. It is specifically labeled as a costume for your avatar, and it is indeed a mask, not a skin. It was meant to replicate those plastic masks that you see being sold on street stalls at Japanese festivals. I guess I could see it like that. Either way, I'm sure I'll be seeing this thing in my nightmares for the rest of my life. This collab was meant to promote the re-release of the Idolmaster SP, and they even held a series of concerts in the Japanese version of Home. These concerts featured Haruka, Yukiho, and Chihaya. You were able to cheer them on in the audience, making you feel like you're attending an actual live performance. And the idol models don't look that bad. As for the audience members, well, try not to look at them from the front. And that's all we've got so far. The Idolmaster certainly has quite the expansive list of connections, wouldn't you say? Which video game collabs would you like to see next? Perhaps something in another Namco title? Additional roster for Tales of the Rays? Idolmaster still has a long life ahead of itself, so it'll be exciting to see what they'll come up with next.